Hello guys, how are you doing today? And welcome back to Learn English Zone. Today we have a very simple and fun English story for you. The Friendly Bus Driver. This story is perfect for beginners. It will help you practice listening, learn new phrases, and enjoy English in an easy way. So relax, listen carefully, and try to repeat some sentences after me. Let's begin. Part 1. The First Ride. It was a cold Monday morning. Sarah stood at the bus stop, holding her bag. She had just moved to a new city. Everything felt strange. The streets, the people, even the bus numbers. When the bus arrived, she stepped in slowly. The driver, an older man with kind eyes, smiled at her. "Good morning," he said. Sarah froze. Her English was not strong. But she remembered her teacher's advice. Don't be shy, just try. She smiled back and whispered, "Good morning." The driver nodded. "Where are you going?" Sarah showed him a small paper with the address of her new school. He looked at it and said, "Yes, this bus goes there. Sit down. I will tell you when to get off." Sarah felt safe. For the first time in this new city, someone was friendly and patient. She found a seat near the window and thought, maybe this city is not so scary after all. Part 2. Learning on the bus. The bus moved through the busy streets. Sarah looked outside. Tall buildings, shops, and people walking fast. Everything was new to her. After a few minutes, the driver called to her with a smile. "Look outside. That is the library." Sarah repeated softly, "Library." The driver nodded. "Yes, good." He pointed again. "That is the park." Sarah said, "Park." Other passengers smiled. They saw the bus driver teaching her English, and it made the bus feel warm, like a small classroom. Sarah wrote the words in her notebook. Library, park. She thought, I am not only traveling, I am learning. Seam. The bus stopped at a red light. The driver looked at Sarah and said slowly, "You are brave. Many people are afraid to speak, but you try." Sarah's heart felt light. Nobody had called her brave before. She whispered, "Thank you." The driver smiled. Keep learning. Every day, a little. Part 3. A small mistake. The bus stopped again. A man came in and asked the driver, "One ticket, please." Sarah listened carefully. She wanted to learn. She repeated softly to herself, "One ticket, please." The driver gave the man his ticket and turned back to Sarah. "Do you want to try?" he asked kindly. Sarah felt shy but said, "One chicken, please." Everyone laughed gently. Sarah's face turned red. The driver said, smiling, "Not chicken, ticket. Say it, ticket." Sarah laughed too. She tried again. "One ticket, please." "Perfect," the driver said. The other passengers clapped softly. Sarah felt proud. She wrote in her notebook, "Ticket, not chicken." For the first time, she didn't feel afraid of making mistakes. She thought, mistakes can make people smile. Mistakes can help me learn. Part 4. A short conversation. The bus was moving again. Sarah looked out the window. The city lights were bright and colorful. The driver asked her, "Where are you from?" Sarah thought for a moment and answered slowly, "From Turkey." The driver smiled and said, "Almost right. Say I am from Turkey." Sarah repeated, "I am from Turkey." Good, the driver said. Then he pointed to himself. I am from this city. Sarah laughed. She understood. It was the first real conversation she had in English with a stranger. She wrote in her notebook, I am from country. Sarah felt happy. The bus was not only taking her home, it was also teaching her English. Part 5. A new word. The bus stopped again. More people came in. A little girl sat near Sarah and dropped her toy. Sarah picked it up and gave it back. She said softly, Here. The driver smiled and said, Good, but you can also say, Here you go. Sarah repeated, Here you go. The little girl laughed and said, Thank you. Sarah felt warm inside. She had used a real English phrase in real life. She quickly wrote in her notebook, Here you go equals when you give something to someone. Sarah thought, English is not only in books, English is in life. Part 6. A small mistake. The bus was almost full now. Sarah wanted to ask the driver something. She stood up and said, Stop in my home, please. The driver laughed kindly. We don't say stop in my home. We say stop at my house or stop near my house. Sarah covered her face and laughed too. Oh, stop at my house, please. Perfect, the driver said. Sarah wrote quickly in her notebook. Stop at my house equals correct. Stop in my home equals not correct. She thought, mistakes are not bad. Mistakes are teachers. Part 7. A new friend. The bus stopped. A young boy came in. He sat next to Sarah. He looked shy, but then said, Hello. Sarah smiled. Hello. My name is Sarah. The boy answered, I am Omar. Nice to meet you. Sarah remembered. Always say, nice to meet you. She repeated, Nice to meet you too, Omar. The driver smiled in the mirror. He said loudly, Good job, Sarah. That's perfect English. Sarah felt happy. She thought, every bus ride is like an English class. She wrote in her notebook, Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. Sarah and Omar started talking. She felt more confident with every word. Part 8. Asking questions. Sarah wanted to practice more English. She asked Omar, Do you go to school? Omar nodded. Yes, I go to school every day. Sarah tried another question. What is your favorite subject? Omar thought for a second and said, I like math. And you? Sarah laughed. I like English. The driver clapped his hands on the steering wheel and said, Excellent! That is a real conversation in English. Sarah felt proud. She wrote in her notebook, Do you go to school? What is your favorite subject? I like math. I like English, she thought. Questions make conversations longer. The bus moved forward, and Sarah felt her English was moving forward too. The Friendly Bus Driver. Part 9. New Words. Omar looked at Sarah's notebook. He said, Your notebook is very good. Sarah smiled. I write every new word. The driver added, Yes, writing is smart. When you write, you remember. Sarah asked, How do you say sabzi in English? Omar thought and answered, Vegetables. Sarah repeated slowly, Vegetables. The driver said, Good. And how do you say mive? Sarah answered quickly, Fruit. Everyone laughed happily. Sarah wrote in her notebook, Vegetables equals sabzi. Fruit equals mive. She whispered to herself, Every word. She whispered to herself, Every word is a new friend. Part 10. The Kind Driver. The The bus was quiet now. The driver looked in the mirror. He said kindly, "You speak very well, Sarah. Don't be shy." Sarah smiled. "Thank you, sir. You helped me a lot." The driver shook his head. No, you help yourself. You try. That is the secret." Omar said, "Yes, when you try, you win." Sarah felt strong. She thought, English is not scary. English is my friend. She wrote in her notebook, "Don't be shy. Try and you win." The driver stopped at the red light. He turned and said, "Language is a door. Today you opened it." Sarah's eyes were bright. "I will keep it open." Part 11. A New Beginning. The bus stopped in front of Sarah's house. She stood up with her small bag. "Stop at my house, please," she said confidently. The driver smiled. "Excellent, Sarah." Omar clapped his hands. "Good job." Sarah stepped off the bus. She turned back and said, "Thank you, driver. Thank you, Omar. Today I learned many things." The driver answered, "Every day, learn one small thing. Soon you will be great." Sarah waved and walked to her door. She felt happy, strong, and ready. She thought, "I will speak English every day. I will not stop." The bus drove away, and the sound of the engine slowly disappeared. But in Sarah's heart, a new journey had already started. Great job, my friends. You listened to the full story, The Friendly Bus Driver. Remember, every day, read, listen, and speak a little English. Small steps make a big difference. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel Learn English.